Hi
Hello,
guys, today we are with
Fine.
Jindal School of Art and Architecture, and we have with Jaideep sir and Azad Ali sir, who will be taking your queries and explaining about the college, the course, the details of uh, like you have already sent me a lot of questions regarding what is the difference between the interior design course and interior and architecture course, and how the like the Jindal School of Art and Architecture is already known for the architecture course. Will it be helpful for the students who are going for interior design? And the most important question, how important is the thing that they have to be have science in the 12th stream or not? Because a lot of student is asking that if the course name is interior architecture, will they be requiring the science background? So you will be clearing all the doubts. So handing over to you, you can start the session with the presentation.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Let me actually straight off the bat make some clarifications and then we can begin the talk.
So this will be a news for Sumit, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted you to announce, this is the first event that we're doing for 2022. And
Yes.
Jaideep, we have an opportunity to announce something good.
Yes, we're going to make an interesting announcement. But before I do all of that, just one clarification and something that I want to give to everybody, all the students who are sitting here. No difference between interior architecture and interior design. These are just two equally swappable nomenclatures, right? Used all over the world interchangeably, right? It depends on certain places what they want to call, what they think will quite honestly be more attractive to sound, right? But as a program, there is no difference. So that you should put your mind to rest whether you need science or not. No, you don't. There. Two things I wanted to clarify before we begin, and then we can begin. All right, so just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's see. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Wonderful. Just give me a second. I just want to go to home and start my slides. All right. From the beginning. So actually, I'm going to talk not only about interiors, but I'm going to talk about the entire sort of design program that is there at JSAA. And in fact, I'm also going to talk, I'm going to talk about all our non-architecture programs. Let me put it like that. That might be a better way to understand the presentation that I am giving today. All right. You know, this is how we imagine ourselves at Jindal, right? And it is to become one of the foremost centers of learning that will produce a paradigmatic, meaning completely new way in the way we make, talk, and we study the built environment. Now, what is the built environment? The built environment is the environment in which we exist, right? In fact, our cities, our towns, our villages, our infrastructure, our railway stations, you know, anything, all of this is built environment. It is built by humans, for humans, of humans. Right. So the idea is, what is the built environment? The built environment is this whole thing, right? So we see ourselves as a place where anything that you want to do with the built environment, whether from the perspective of an architecture kind of a program or from the design programs, right? We want JSA to be the place that you think, the place to go to in this country, right? And slowly in this world. You know, in fact, just yesterday, we came just that much closer to becoming one of these, place like that. We recently concluded the first ever undergraduate research conference on the built environment in India, right? We had students from Australia, from Philippines, from the US, from all over India. But we received about 100 papers. And out of that, we selected, there was a review panel, an external review panel, and 32 papers were selected. And, you know, they produced, there were keynote lectures. This was a one of a kind and the first time ever that this has happened for undergraduate students of design and built environment in this country. right? First time, we are so happy. Even though it was during pandemic times and, we are online, but we did this and we had so many participants. Next year, the idea, and this is going to become an annual feature. So next year, the idea is to go double the size, to do it really in our beautiful campus. And, we look forward to new students. And these are the ways in which you realize how are students from all over the world working, right? So the idea is to get everybody in conversation with each other, right? And we recently concluded that. In fact, just 2 days from now, we are going to open the first green building chapter from the Indian Green Building Council student chapter. You all should follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You'll get to see all of these fantastic things that are happening. All right. So, why study at this place, right? Why? Now I'm going to give you 5 reasons, right? And the 5 reasons are actually our degrees. And at present we have about 4 programs of study. I put the BArch in slightly lighter color because I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the BA Honors Program, which is essentially a program for those who want to study architecture but don't have maths and sciences as a background. So this is again a first of its kind of program in India, where you can even do an architecture program without having maths and sciences. And we are getting this program accredited, and also we have what's called an extension degree program with this. So you can do 4 years here and a 1 year in the UK and actually go and practice there. So right. And then we have the BDES interior program, which you talked about. And then we have the BDES urban and community program. But what, Azad is especially excited about, and that, so this is the first thing, and we would like to use Design Circle to announce that next year, we will be launching our 5th program, which is the BDES product and furniture.
Oh, that's really great.
All right. So this is a very, very big thing for us. We are doing, our architecture programs are doing great. Our interior programs are doing great. Our urban and community program is picking up. And now we are launching a product and furniture design program. So that's the big, announcement that we have, right? So 5 programs now. And these 5 programs, I'll give you 5 reasons for them. And each of these reasons will enable you to become what we call an innovator and a game changer, right, in the field of design and built environment, which, as I always say, is the largest engine of growth and sustainable development in the world. Think about it. This is the largest activity that we do as human beings, which is build our environments. Right? If we can do this, so this is the largest engine of growth. If we can develop it sustainably, what a difference it will make to this world. Right? And if you are an innovator and a game changer in this industry, which is the largest industry in the world, imagine to what lengths and what heights you can climb. Right? Each of these programs and each of these reasons, 5 reasons that I give you, right, I think are going to become and enable you to become, right, a creative agent who's going to build a better world, whether it's inside, outside, at the level of the neighborhood, at the level of objects that you create, right, and help build a better world, a world that is more just, a world that is more equitable, a world that is safe, healthy, beautiful, accessible, and never to forget, sustainable, right? So what are these 5 reasons, right? First, a completely flexible and customizable program. At JSAA, all our programs, right, you can pretty much design your own curriculum, right? We just tell you certain things, and after that, it's up to you to do your thing. Now, why do we do this? Very simple. You see, over the years and years of experience that one has had, one has realized that, look, students, right? Students come with their own knowledge systems. They come with their own way of learning, with their own passions, with what they want to do first, what they want to do last, how they want to, and they'll all learn at different speeds. So why do we have a one size fits all? Now, at the JSA, what we do very interestingly is this. After your foundation year, there are no horizontal years across any of the program. Any student can pretty much take courses how they want. We give you a basket of courses, right? And you guys can just decide that this is how I want to do it. Now, somebody else can take a completely different way to do it. And that's absolutely fine, right? We do that. Somebody will completely, this might be your organization, but let's say Azad is a student and, he will come and say, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do audits and assessments later. I'll do it later, right? We tell you the number of credits you're supposed to finish and the minimum credits you have to take in a year. That's all we tell you. The rest is up to you, how you do it. So it's a complete choice-based system. All right. Number two, this is very, very important. And this is one way we distinguish ourselves from every design and architecture and school of built environment in this country, right? We say that, look, it's very easy for you to do things on paper. In Bengali, I'm a Bengali, and in Bengali, we have a very interesting saying. It says, Mukheina Maritong Jagat, which means through talk and through paper, you can kill the universe. You can win the universe. The real test of any work, anything that you do, is making it in real life. Because, there you have a budget, you have people, you have a client, you have users, and who will tell you have stakeholders, you have different vendors, you have different agencies, you have so many people to work with. And if you can satisfy all of them and yet produce this fantastic thing, that is what is real creativity. Right? So the idea is, and this is how our students learn. So, whether this is a part of the community, in your foundation, your community, urban studies people, who are working on redeveloping this little building, and revitalizing that area in Kalkaji in Delhi. And this was an NGO for little girls, which was there, right? We don't do all of this in paper. What you're seeing are actual clients, the person standing in the blue, he's actually the owner of that place. He's the one who runs the NGO. And he gave us this project, and we are all working, and everything is getting done in real. We were building, we prototype, we made everything. This is true of, how you learn to make things. So our foundation year students, when they learn, the interior students, when they learn how to build, let's say, chairs, we don't make them do it on paper. What we do is we give them something which is old and decrepit. We ask them to break it. You break, and as you're breaking, you learn how to make. The idea is something very simple. When in order for you to, I could give you 10 million manuals on how to drive a car, but till you haven't driven a car, you can't drive the car. Design is very much like that. You can get 500 different kinds of theoretical understandings or, ideas, but till you don't know, because, the material will not behave how you want to. Wood will not just bend the way you want to. You have to work with real things, right? Okay. Number three, this is very, very critical today, is the question of globality, right? I already mentioned to you the fantastic international student conference that we did. We have tie-ups with over 250 institutions. Right? There are opportunities for doing, this is like the extension program that I was talking about for the BA course. So you can do 4 years here, 1 year at NTU, and get a degree, get a bachelor's and a master's. Then there are opportunities for you to do collaborative research. This is the Environmental Humanities Lab at Sweden. Our students are working with students from there, from Milan, from Brazil, and from New York in producing what is called an alternative atlas of the world, right? So as you are there, you're constantly getting this extreme global exposure. But apart from this, you have something called STSAPs, which are short-term study abroad programs. You have WCP, which is the World Cities program. You have the semester exchange program. There are all kinds of things, and dozens and dozens of places for you to choose from. All right. The crowning glory of in certain ways is our, for you to get this kind of a exposure, for you to get this kind of connections, for you to get this kind of cutting edge work, the faculty has to match it. JSA's faculty comes from the top 20 universities in the world. We have the highest number of internationally trained faculty in any school of art, architecture, and design in this country. We have the highest percentage of doctorates from in any school of art, architecture in this country. Right? We have, between all of us, we have more than 200 years of teaching in the best universities in the world. Right? We have people, I mean, you can see we have people from Cornell, from Harvard, from Cincinnati, Polytechnical in Milan, Purdue, Berkeley, Heidelberg, Utrecht, Oxford, you name it, everyone, Tokyo Institute, all over the world. These are people who have gotten trained there, who have worked there, who have taught there, who've come back. Right? And this is what we call the crowning glory of all our programs. This is the idea of a minors, and this we are the only design program in the country which allows for major minor combinations. What is it? Well, the idea is very simple. Designers can work in any part of the built environment. And there is work to be done on codes, on livability, on waste, on climate, on infrastructure, on accessibility, on governance, on aesthetic ideas, on policy, on structures, on equity frameworks. Right? We asked, why not create designers who can also work in these areas? Right? Why? Because more and more we need people to work across areas. So the answer that we gave was something called a T-shaped JSA graduate. What does this mean? Well, each of you, when you come in, we expect you to graduate as a T-shaped graduate with one major area of studies, which, in your case, are any of the BDES programs or the BA program, but a minor area of study too. And what are the minor area of studies? Well, right now there are 12. I mean, I only have space for 10, but there are more than 12 areas in which you could do minors. Right? Let me tell you what this really means. Okay, let me help you through examples. Let's say you're doing your major is in BA honors architectural studies. What's the built environment studies? You get a minor in sustainability studies. Now, suddenly, you are not only looking at a job in an architectural office, you can go and become an environmental auditor. You can go and become a green building consultant. You can go and look in becoming a landscape architect. You can go and look at what's called waste management professional. Right? Let's say you take a different minor, business studies. Suddenly, a whole different kind of job opens up for you. Real estate development, construction management, smart cities consultant, strategic planners, project managers. All right. Let's take another example. Let's say you're somebody who's interested in the interiors program. Let's say you combine it with virtual environments, right? Suddenly you're looking at VFX art, game design, experience design, scenographer design, building auditors, digital environment developers. Let's say you take another minor, business studies this time. Completely different jobs open up for you, right? Let's take a couple of more examples. Let's say you're interested in community and urban design, right? You major in liberal arts in the School of Liberal Arts at Jindal. Suddenly you can think of becoming historic district managers. You can think of becoming mobility designers, social policy research, development professional, social and community managers. Let's say you're interested, journalism and media, right? You can think of becoming community planners, community media managers, experience designers, international aid workers, international development officers, strategic planners, right? I could go on. There are examples after examples for you, all right? Now, there's, like as I said, do follow us on JSA, JG, on Instagram, on Facebook, on our Twitter, and also now on our LinkedIn page. There's a lot more information for all of you. These are all run by our students. You can reach out to them. You can, just say, hey, I have a question, and talk to them, right? But what we want you to realize is that the JSA is fundamentally positioning you as a very different kind of designer, unlike anything else that you're going to experience in this country, right? So I'm going to stop here and maybe open up the floor to questions or anything that you want to ask, all right?
Thank you so much for the very, very, very sharp presentation. And like in 7 minutes, everything is so clear. So uh, I got a really good questions from the students, which I want to ask so
Please.
that the things will be more clearer. Is that number one is that uh, a couple of students have asked that is the interior design or any other course has the probability of doing space design also, like exhibition design and all these things, like if they want to.
Absolutely. That means absolutely. You know, both, if you notice, I had two words in there, experience design and scenographer.
Mhm.
Those are precisely the more technical terms for what you just asked, right? So what does a scenographer do? Is essentially designing spaces. And scenographers not only work in everyday life, but they also work with theater, with movie makers, right? And not only that, exhibition design is now central, what's called experience design. In fact, if you look at our coursework, I have not shared the detailed coursework. I'm not going to give out every secret out, right? So, you know, the detailed coursework that is there, I can tell you that we have two specific 3 credit courses. One is called collections, curations, museums, where the idea is completely how do you curate collections, right? How do you keep, because museum designers, experience designers is a huge burgeoning field for interior designers now, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, yes. So Lakshita is asking in the chat section that what exactly is the difference in the community design and built environment? What are we taught exactly?
All right, wonderful question, Lakshita. I'll try to answer the best I can. A community urban designer, it's a question of scale. All right. A community urban designer is looking essentially at the level of a neighborhood, right? And is looking, and an urban designer is looking at the level of the city, right? And you are looking at both of these from the point of view of collectivities, like a community, or let's say users of your infrastructure, like your metro system, or let's say like the bus system in Delhi. So so the scale, collectivities and scale. But in the built environment studies program, you are more getting trained more at looking at a scale of buildings, individual buildings, right? So individual buildings, not at the level of neighborhood, not at the level of a city. It really is a personal choice. And that's why after our first foundation year, we let our students switch. Because, you know, after doing 1 year in foundation, Lakshita, many students will say, you know, I came in thinking that I wanted to be an interior designer. But, you know, now I've looked at some things, I'm very interested in working on infrastructure and community work. We allow you to shift, right? Because there are certain things that are common, beta, and certain things which are different. The difference, as I am saying, is the question of scale, a question of who is your perceived audience for whom you're working, your preferred clientele for whom you're working, right? And there's one more difference, which is a very, very critical difference. It is also that the urban and community programs are also for those who are more interested in working at the interface of human beings and the built environment. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question, Lakshita.
Absolutely. We will be coming to the section of that how the examination will be happening and portfolio. But yes, first I want to take all the question you have. So the second question is that how important the role of computer graphics softwares in the interior, and how important is that if a student is not great in the sketching part, will there be a great career option waiting for them in the field of interiors?
Okay, let me take the second question first. Okay, because a lot of students ask me this question. So we are not good at drawing. Will we make good designers? Let me, I'm going to say some things which are going to dispel. You're going to say, I don't know, what is this man talking? Because he's talking like unlike everybody else. You don't need to know drawing to become a designer. You don't. Why? Because look at how we are doing things today. Recently at the JSAA, we have set up something called the Virtual Environments Laboratory. What is this laboratory? You take your drawings, which you are making in a digital format. So whether it's Revit, it's AutoCAD, or it's Rhino, or whatever. And these are softwares, everything. We have access to over 200 softwares for all of you. Okay. Now, you are making this drawing there. You're taking this drawing, putting it into another digital machine. You're putting on a goggles, you're putting on trackers, and you're putting on a suit, and you're entering the building. And you can take your client along with you now. So just tell me, why the hell do you need to draw?
Yes.
If these are all 19th century ideas that you think you need to draw. You don't. Not at all. Any one of us can sketch a little bit. Nowadays, you can sketch a little bit, and the final thing is what is important. Right? And you have softwares to help you do all of that. Produce the best drawings that you can imagine. You just have to know how to manipulate it. Right? That was what was the first question? Now let me ask again. The first part of the
question was that how important is the part of computer. So you also answered that.
Yeah, I've answered that also. That is something, and that is a skill that you will take up at JSAA. In fact, in your first foundation year, you will be given training in about 6 different software programs. Okay, and let me tell you what they are. There's something AutoCAD, Revit, Photoshop, InDesign, something called SketchUp, and another thing called Twinmotion. Twinmotion is an animation software.
Okay. All right.
Just in your first year. Yeah.
So I have another question, and this question is not related with college, but as a faculty, you can answer it. That is, wants to know that she is still confused between furniture, product, and interiors. So if she takes the course of interior, can she be able to do product and furniture in the post graduation, or she can pursue both the things along with the interior design course? And she's not asking that whether it will be taught in college, but from you as a mentor, whether she can do it or not.
No. I am going to give you both answers to both questions.
Okay.
Okay. Please understand this. Of course, look, the good thing about an undergraduate degree in design is that it is both general enough and particular enough that if you want to go from, let's say, furniture to interior, you're not going to go crazy, right? And if you want to go from, let's say, product to furniture or product to interior, you are not going to go crazy, right? But the fact of the matter is, in India, these kind of choices were not available. Right? But that's why the minor program, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In fact, for us, it is natural that 9 out of 10 students who are majoring in interior will do a minor in furniture design. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, of course.
It's a natural. I mean, you are in this field for so long. Today, if you had an option, this is and you wanted to do interior design, this is the first option you would take. Because you're like, okay, I'm doing interior design and then I'm doing furniture, minor. Or you can say, okay, I'm doing product design as a product and furniture as a major. I might as well get some idea in interior and do a minor in that. So that when I become an entrepreneur, or if I want to start my own thing, I have a larger idea of what is happening.
Okay, understood. So now I've got 2 very tough questions, and it will be very easy for you. Number 1 is that a student doesn't know about that, like they know that if they're doing for communication, they can work under a photographer, filmmaker, and they know that if they are doing BR, they will be working under an architect. But where does exactly the interior designers work during the internship, and what kind of companies come for the placement to hire the interior designer, and what does these companies expect from the student of interior design?
All right. All wonderful questions. Let me tell you. Interior designers have very, very specific places they work to.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, you can go and work under museum designers, no? And go and intern with a museum. You can go and work with those who are doing experience design. You can go and work in a gaming company, right? You can go and work with other interior designers, right? And please understand, again, all questions that come to me keep forgetting that we have a minors program. Please understand, why do we have a minors program? Because we are expanding where you can work. Depends on what kind of combination you're doing. So let's say you are doing somebody who's I'll give you an example of one of my students, interior design, very interested in journalism and communication, is working with with filmmakers to make films on interiors. Okay. Architect, very interested in international relations, is getting a minor in international relations, is now going and working with something like the World Wildlife Fund or United Nations Development Program. See, what we are trying to do, this is what I mean by saying that everything that you're thinking about design colleges, you have to throw out in what's happening at JSAA. We have tied up with close to 120 companies from all over, which includes NGOs, designers, policy firms, right? I mean, just today I finished signing an MOU with 2 companies. The first one, is called actually a not-for-profit sector company. It's the Innovation and Design Center. Okay, what do? They basically hire designers to go and work with communities, right, and make small products to help that community. This company and this not-for-profit gives grants for these designers, okay, and for the local communities from $500 to $1,000. You go there and you work with the community, and you are a product designer who goes and makes interesting things for them, along with them. Suddenly that community now becomes an innovator. The 21st century, folks, the world is changing. If you think you are going to become an interior designer and only work with an architect or an interior designer, then I'm going to say you're stuck in the 19th century. That's because believe me, our architecture student, one architecture student doing a minor in environment and sustainability, right? Working with Indian Institute of Human Settlements in Hyderabad. Another student, very, very interested in writing, has been interning with a place called Rethinking the Future, RTF. What do? They are creating community awareness through articles and write-ups about the built environment. Very viable professions nowadays for all designers, right? So I hope that answers your question to a certain extent.
This question actually brought one more question from one student. Please. That is there any course in the field of interior, like interior journalism also?
Yes, there is. And I will connect you to somebody who works on that. There are magazines on that. You know how many magazines are there on that?
Yes, Good Homes, and there are hundreds of
magazines. There are serious magazines like Mondo, who we are tied up with, which is through Stir. The editor, Mrinalini, is one of my students. So, you have to understand, in fact, this so much of work, whether it's journalism for interiors, journalism for architecture, journalism for heritage and conservation, there are divisions even there.
I want to add, one of my friend, I'm a 2009 graduate from NIF Delhi, and one of my friend, and he is an interior photographer, and he has done actually interiors. So he is an interior photographer and not a communication designer, and because he understands interiors more than a communication designer.
Exactly. See, this is what I mean. You will combine interiors with communication design and photography, you become an interiors photographer, and that's how you live your life. And there's huge amount of money to be made there.
Yes, absolutely.
Every interior that is getting designed, you do realize that they will put it on a website somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Who do you think is taking those photographs? Do you think ऐसे ही किसी photographer को ले आते हैं? नहीं, there are people who are specialized interior photographers. So thank you for that wonderful example. This is what I want to tell people, that, stop thinking that you're only going to do this one thing. The world has changed.
Absolutely. So guys, I know that you all want to know about the fee structure, about the examination, but 2 more questions and we'll jump to that section, and they will clear about what kind of portfolio they're expecting, the process and everything, and fee structure, exchange program fee structure. I have got 10 questions more, but yes, before that, related with academics, is that the exhibition design is the part of interiors, production. So is exhibition, because exhibition design is being offered like a course outside India. So in JSA, is exhibition design the part of the course and they can
Yes.
choose in the minors?
Yes. No. So exhibition, see, please understand. When you're doing exhibition design, there are a couple of things you are doing space design at one level.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? You're also doing what's called curation at another level.
Mhm.
Okay. So what we have done is that the part of exhibition, scenography, and all of that is part of our interiors program. See, at JSA, remember, as I said, you can choose the kind of studios that you take. So let's say after doing the 2 or 3 mandatory studios which we have for you, you have next to 4 to 5 chances for you to choose all the kind of studios you want to do. So for example, if somebody within the interiors is saying, no, I'm finding myself very, very interested in experience or exhibition design, then you take that kind of studio. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's possible. That's how it is structured at JSA.
So one last question is for you, Jadeep sir, is that from a student only that, sir, if I'm doing an interior design course, what, like if you were at her place with this much of experience, what kind of post-graduation you will be going for outside India after doing the interior design course from India? So what all student can select?
You can as I said, beta, all the design disciplines become available to you, right? So it depends on your area of interest. And, JSA is a recognized university. Whether it's UGC, in fact, we are an institution of eminence by the government of India. So our programs are accepted all over the world for anything that you want to do, right? So what kind of courses they are depends on your choice. For example, right now, we just talked about the fact that you could do interiors, but after that, you could go into game development. I'll give you an idea. Think about it. Do you know how much of scope interior designers have in game development?
No, I also don't know so much about it.
Okay. Let me ask all of you a very simple thing. Every game you play, you do realize it is in some environment, no? Who designs that? It's either architects or interiors designers. They are the best people. They know space design. They know all of this. They know that when you move through a space, what it will look like, what it should look like. Let's say a game is set in, I don't know, post-apocalyptic New York. Okay. New York is destroyed. Now, who is going to give a better imagination than somebody who's been trained how the built environment has to look like? So huge scope for interiors and architects and all in the gaming industry, for example. So it just depends on your interest, beta. There are people who have done interior and then gone on to do things like waste management or project management, or what is called now, nowadays, there are people who have done interiors and have gone into real estate management. There's something recent, and even I have heard this for the first time. There's something called design idea monetization. And now I heard it for the first time 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks. I said, ye kya hai? Well, what's happening is very interesting. That, designs are becoming like security, share market. Right? And people are going into this too. So it's a different ball game altogether now, right? So I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Now, Azad sir, over to you. How the students can apply and what the fee structure if they are going for international 1-year tie-up program. Then what will be the fees they will be paying there, and so you can clear all the things straight away.
Thank you, Sumit sir. This was Dr. Jadeep Chatterjee, our executive dean at Jindal School of Art and Architecture. So he has spent quite a lot of time in the US studying and training people in the Cornell University and the University of Cincinnati as well. So since many years he's in India and guiding and motivating and teaching these students in one of the premium institutions in the country. So at Jindal, we have interior design, urban and community, product and furniture, which is the new course we have launched this year. So all these 3 programs are available in the bracket of fee structure, rupees 3 lakh. annually, which is payable semester-wise. You can pay competitively in the market. The fee is more under your budget. You can pay 1.5 lakh per semester. Because it's a residential, 100% residential campus, so you need to live in the hostel itself, in the university hostel, which is 2.67 lakh now, 2020.
The hostel fees include the food and all time food, or that will
Yeah,
be
so I'm
separate?
coming up. So the hostel fee includes your stay, your 4-time meal, your health service. We have a full-fledged hospital in the campus. Your fitness services, all the 24/7 electricity, Wi-Fi, and centralized air condition. You have all-time laundry facility available in the campus at the same cost. You don't need to pay any extra amount. So for the finest hostel in the country, any Indian university would offer the large size bedrooms, and every floor have a reading area as well as a common area where you can spend good time during the weekends. Furthermore, to get admission at the Jindal School of Art and Architecture in the design program, you should qualify our Jindal Creative Aptitude Test. This is an online home-proctored aptitude test that you need to register while filling up the form. And if you qualify in the Jindal Creative Aptitude Test, we will invite you to appear for the portfolio and interview round in the faculty meeting.
So the examination will be happening in two parts. First of all, they need to apply and they will be appearing for Jindal Creative Aptitude Test. And if they clear the aptitude test, they will move to the portfolio and interview, or all the students will move to the portfolio and interview round?
No, only who are those who are selected in the aptitude test, Jindal Creative.
And what are the intakes for the per department, sir?
So product design, we have a 20 seats, interior we have a 30, and urban and community we have a 10 seats this year.
All right. And okay, I just popped up a question that the Jindal Creative Aptitude Test will have only drawing, or a mixture of English, GK, logical reasoning, everything.
So there's no drawing in our.
Can I talk about that for a second?
Yes, yes,
all right. So again, actually, there's no drawing. That's why I tell you it's not required. But what we do test, okay, what is it that we do test? We test your ability to observe a drawing. That is very important. All right. We test your ability to observe things around you and how are they made, because that's what you are going to do. You're going to make things. All right. Number 3, we test your powers of observation. All right. In terms of how things are put together, because that is also something that you do. And then we test your ability to comprehend things, to make sense of things that you read, that you see, that you hear. Okay, this is how it is. We test your ability to understand how much you are noticing materials in your everyday. And we test your ability to interpret anything. This could be an image, it could be a text, it could be a sound that you hear, right? That's what it is.
All right, thank you so much for the clarification. To make more things clear.
So further to your question, Sumit sir, so we have 250 plus collaborations for semester exchange. So Jindal offers an opportunity to travel to the top 100 institutions in the world without paying international fee. So suppose you're paying 1.5 lakh as a semester cost at Jindal, you may choose to go to Cornell or University of Arts London to complete your 1 semester. That's under the semester exchange program.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just a clarification, Azad. It's in the semester exchange you don't pay, but in the semester abroad you pay.
Abroad, yeah.
Yes. Because in the semester exchange, it's a one-on-one exchange. One student is going there, another student is coming here. No exchange of monetary things.
Yeah.
But if only once our student is going there for a semester or a year, then you have to pay for their fees.
Their fee structure.
Their fee structure. Right. And the other thing is something called this short-term study abroad program. Now, what is this? This is, let's say you have a course, a particular course for 3 credits or 2 credits. You will go out to one of our partner institutions and it will be a condensed, let's say 3 weeks course, where you'll get instructions worth about 2 to 3 credits. Now, the cost for this is highly sort of subsidized in that case. Whereas, I mean, let's say usually taking a course in any university, I'll give you an idea. Okay. Now, let's say a place like Cornell or one of the top universities or private universities, which are there all over the world, if you know, they charge you by credit, right? So let's take, for example, at a place like Cornell, where as an undergraduate student, you can take up to 18 credits a semester. So you can take up to 36 credits in a year. But Cornell's fee structure is about 40,000, right? $40,000 to $45,000. So each credit is actually about $1,500. So imagine, now this is apart from your staying expense, your other things which are there, whatever, when you are. But in the short-term study abroad program, what we do is this. You will get those same 2 or 3 credits, let's say from a place like Cornell, but now we're subsidized and everything inclusive, travel, everything inclusive will be like $3,500. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
so it gets a subsidized rate in that case, right? So that's the 3 kind of a tiered structure for the international thing. Now, if you want to do for what's called an extension program, where you do 4 years with us and let's say the 5th year somewhere else, right? Then the 4 years you are paying ours, the 5th year you are paying theirs, but you are not going through all the hassles of the admission process, that, it's a continuation of it.
All right.
Okay.
So, and how easy or tough it's to get through the short programs with the tied-up colleges?
Well, there are some conditions, obviously. You have to maintain a certain GPA. Right? So the first condition is a maintenance of a certain GPA. You must not have what are called backs or anything, obviously. In Jindal, the base criteria is good academic standing, which means a 6 GPA out of an 8-point GPA. Okay, basically you've got to maintain, which means you can't have any backs, you can't have all of that. Okay. Now, if that is there, it's not so tough. The tough thing is maintaining the condition, because there are so many for you to choose from. You'll get a place.
All right, great. Sir, and when will be the forms will be out, Azad sir?
So the application for 2022 will be available on the 1st of October. You can visit our website. You can get in touch with Design Circle team as well. We will send you the details when the application forms are out. Hopefully, we are sure about the 1st of October when we are launching the 2022 applications.
So guys, we'll be providing you with the link. You can apply through the link and you will get all the details. In case of any problem while filling up the form, you can always contact me and Azad sir will be always there to help you throughout the process. And yes, by the time you were explaining all these things, so a couple of students have asked that, can we access or can we see the previous year question paper? So that I don't know, that you can tell us that whether they can see the papers to get an idea or not.
Yes, they can. The moment they start filling up the form, the moment they submit the form, they automatically get a sample paper.
All right. Okay.
You get an option to go. I think they can do some mock tests, Azad, isn't it?
They can do sample. They can get the sample paper.
Yeah, because your paper is quite different and the process is also very different.
Yes, absolutely. Paper is different. Paper is
very different. Our portfolio that, go and look at our website to see what kind of a portfolio we expect from you. It's written there in great detail, because we want our portfolio to be somewhat different.
Okay. All right. So I think we have clarified everything to all the students. These are very filtered students who have been asking about the interior architecture. So I think you have made a not about Jindal, but you have cleared about the wholesome interior design thing. So thank you so much, everyone. And,
thank you.
Sir, you have been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sumit.
you so
Bye-bye.
much, Sumit.
Good night,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Take care.
Thank you, Jadip.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.